You're listening to the Vetted VA podcast, Your Journey Home. Nathan Nottingham is your host today, and he'll be chatting with Aaron Clark.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Vetted VA podcast, Your Journey Home. In this series, we are interviewing the men and women that are the Vetted VA professionals that make up the moderators in the community that you will find on vettedva.com. The professionals that really are serving above self in so many different ways, and they spend a lot of time answering questions and teaching. And they do that so that whomever you, the veteran, the active duty service member, the family member, whoever you choose to work with, real estate or lending, to use your VA earned VA home loan benefit, at least you get good answers. If you don't use them, they still will answer as though you are their best friend, and they will give you everything they got. So with me today is Aaron Clark. Aaron is with Firehouse Mortgage in Houston area, Texas. I'm like, Houston's kind of big, so I'll let you get real specific there if you want. But that's kind of the area he's in. Marine veteran, a fantastic hard worker. Man, this guy, between he and his wife Rachel, they have taken over that little area of Houston and have a really strong national push right now, just in political action and focusing education and everything you do. So Aaron, thank you for joining me. Thank you for being on here, but most of all, thank you for serving in Vetted VA and being part of the community as you are.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Well, we'd love to hear your story. Where are you coming from? What's your background? How in the world did you find yourself in mortgages?
Oh, it's been a journey.
Right.
Well, early 90s, I was Marine Corps, did 4 years, then got out and started college. College really wasn't for me. So I joined the fire department with the
Okay.
city. So I've been with the city fire department for 27 years. So kind of on the downhill slide.
Yeah.
And just like most public servants, just like the military, pays not real well. So every fireman has a side job.
Yeah.
I started out doing ceramic tile, doing flooring.
Okay. I was literally about to say, so what kept you from general contracting? Because that's every fireman I know usually has a general contractor license.
No, I did. That's what I was doing, but I just got tired of getting up and down off the floor. Like, body can only take so much. Finding good help's hard to find. I don't trust a whole lot of people. So one of my firemen who worked under me, because I've promoted through my time in the fire department, he was actually in a real estate, worked for a Remax. So he brought me on as a real estate agent. So I kind of learned that for a few years. And then Remax decided to get into the mortgage side with Mortgage branches.
Yes.
So he asked my wife, who was running his whole office at the time, to be a loan officer. And I kind of told him, like, you're not very smart because she runs everything. What are you going to do? So I told him I would do it. And so I went and took the class and passed and started his business on the mortgage side. And a few years went by and we didn't see eye to eye, and he let us go, and we started Firehouse Mortgage back in 2018.
And there you go. The rest is history now.
That's it.
You've had a couple loan officers that worked with you, but primarily you kind of just you and your wife work really arm in arm and do a lot of business just for what you guys do, right?
Correct. Yeah. Well, we have our loan officers I think there's 3 other firemen. We got a paramedic. Actually just picked up a teacher this year, but we're small. Okay. There's about 6 of us. I'm happy if they do a loan a month.
Yeah. Right.
We're pretty busy. Myself, I probably do 80 to 100 a year, which is pretty busy. The wife used to be the whole back end of Firehouse Mortgage. She handled all the compliance issues, kept us in compliance, did all the reporting. We've been audited by the state twice as Firehouse Mortgage.
Yeah.
So, but then come January, she took a took a job that now she's not the back end. So we're making it.
Yeah. You
But I
keep
mean, it's
pushing
a lot
through.
of fun. Absolutely.
So let me ask you this, because you have an interesting take on this. Having working, I shouldn't say just having, because you currently are in the fire department. You currently have a role. You work a number of days a month. Like every once in a while, you're like, hey, I'm going to be out for these days. I'm going to be on call or on duty. Um, why is it, or why would mortgages be a good answer for other fire uh, professionals, men and women, that are looking for a side role, something they could work on? Why is this an answer, like against maybe general contracting or other physical labor jobs?
Gotcha. One, it helps preserve the body because
Mm,
construction and most side jobs is the physical demanding, where mortgages is more thinking outside the box, a little more brain power. Uh, it's something downtime at the fire station you can do.
hmm,
Where there's a lot of firemen that do real estate, but you're traveling a lot
yeah,
as a mortgage broker or a loan officer. Once you build the relationships with the real estate agents, then it's more on the phone, on the computer, Zoom, however they want to communicate with you. Nowadays, it's not, you don't have to, they don't have to come in the office and bring all their paperwork. Of course, there's secured
hmm,
ways to get that information. And
hmm,
I mean, it's pretty nice. Most people work normal hours, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. So more in the evenings, you'll do some work. But as a fireman, you're used to pretty much 24/7 anyway. So it just allowed us to have more family time doing mortgages than
yeah,
me out doing tile work, putting wear and tear on the truck, my body.
yeah.
So it has flexibility. You can be as busy as you want. If you want to make money, you hustle. If you don't, you just don't hustle as much.
The the process with which you got into the business, which I think is a majority, almost anybody I ask, how'd you get into mortgages? Are like, well, let me tell you about how I met somebody. And then they told me about this. It's like, yeah, that's how we all do it. Um, there's something about the mortgage process, and specifically, and we'll focus on the VA loan here for it. How have you found your service, both your service as a Marine and then in the fire department and then in mortgages, look at the VA loan? Like, why does working that way thoroughly make sense for you? What is it about the VA loan that just is kind of clicks?
Well, at first I didn't specialize in VA. And then
Hmm.
the more I got into mortgages, I'm like, my personal loan that I've done have all been VA. And I'm like,
Hmm.
wait a minute, I thought this guy was my friend and they took advantage of me because they worked in
Yeah.
the real estate office. So one thing I bring from the service fire department is you want integrity, you want trust, and you want somebody to be straight up. I mean, if you can't do it, tell them you can't do it.
Mhm.
But most veterans, firemen, police, most people in the public service, if you tell them, hey, you can't do it now, but you give them a route to do it, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
Now, they might halfway through it be like, "Can we do it now?" Like, "No, you got to keep, you got to still do it," but they'll follow the plan to get through. So, I look at it as, I, people will send me loan estimates from other lenders, and I'll highlight
Yeah.
it, draw it up, dot it, fax it back to them, email it back to them, and I'll tell them, "Look, if it's just an eighth of a point, it might not be worth sending me all your documents. You've already got the relationship there.
Hmm.
Stay with them. But if you're going to refi, let me know." But it's just having that trust that they know, hey, what you're telling them is they can pretty much take it to the bank.
Yeah.
Uh, and with the VA, there's normally, if they're not late on payments, you can normally find a way to make it work.
Eh, It's so true. That is so true. So let's expound on that a little bit. What's one of your favorite things about the VA loan that you find to be superior to other loan types or products and ways you try to help people?
What I like about the VA loan that helps my clients is DTI doesn't matter. So
Yeah.
everybody that a lot of self-employed, you don't want to pay taxes, so you don't claim all your money. You're going to pay your bills on time. You got decent credit, but I like that the VA doesn't say, okay, well, if your debt to income's over 50, you can't have a loan. They kind of look at it like, hey, as long as you have X amount of
Right.
dollars residual income, you can purchase the home. So I think
Right.
it allows more people to get in a home because being a veteran myself, you learn. I was single my time in the service. So you kind of know you get paid, you blow all your money, you still got a place to sleep and food to eat. And it's hard to get out of that mindset. Tons of veterans still,
Mm.
they get out, they get paid, they pay all their bills, they just don't have any money in their account. But they know if they
Yeah.
have a bill, they'll find a way to pay it. So I think with the DTI, not looking at DTI and looking at residual income, if you tell them, hey, look, you got to start putting money in there so you can show them you can make the payment, they'll
Yeah.
do it. And DTI isn't just going to knock them out.
Yeah. DTI just seems to be a very simple number. Like everybody talks about FICO scores and DTI, and it's like
Correct.
it's just a number, and we all want to run into that. But DTI does not show you the story. It doesn't talk about, yeah, great, you've got a high debt to income, but you've actually saved up so much money over time, or you've got a spouse that maybe can't sit on the loan with you, but is covering house costs. Like
Mhm.
there's a lot there that can be utilized towards that residual aspect to make that not more affordable, but to be able to close the loan, honestly.
Correct. Gives you at least get your foot in the door.
Hmm.
Where others will be like, no, your debt to income's way too high. Like you don't
Yeah.
know somebody that makes $5,000 a month, their DTI is more affected than somebody that makes $10,000 a month. Even though the person with $10,000 a month could have a higher DTI,
Hmm.
but they still have residual. So
Yeah.
to me, the way the VA does it with residual, it kind of puts everybody on the equal playing field. So DTI can be a little higher.
I think we've talked about residual before. Is like that's one of the secret sauces to the fact that VA loan has some of the lowest foreclosure rates. Right? People do lose their homes. Like the loan does not stop the loss of home. Things happen. Life happens, and it stinks when it does. Um, but it's still, as a whole, even with a higher loan to value by doing 100% financing and some of the great things you can do with the VA loan, that residual income really does serve as almost a bellwether of like, hey, they're going to be okay. Like this is a better product for them long term because we've proven their ability to repay and their ability to actually have a backup plan in case. What is what's something you find yourself overcoming regularly outside of DTI? Like you have a real estate agent, you got anybody coming to your office like, man, I heard this, or this is what I know about the VA loan. You're like, oh, really? Okay. Like, what do you overcome so many more times than not?
Most of the time, everybody's scared of the appraisal, but it's the only one you got multiple chances to get it right.
Mm.
Uh, I tell them, hey, if it's priced right, we won't have an issue. If you overprice it, we have an issue. Uh, but I flip that around because everything costs more these days. But
Right.
I like the VA loan is the only one that can do a manufactured home that's been moved more than once.
Okay. Explain.
Unless you get a hard money non-bank getting a loan, the VA is the only one. FHA, USDA, and conventional will not allow you to purchase a manufactured home, a trailer, single wide, double wide, that's been
Right.
moved more than once. So buying it from the dealership to the house, that's a move. So if you want to buy a used trailer and move it onto your property, only the VA will lend on that trailer.
What do they have to do to make sure that trailer is like set up?
There's some extra inspections. They'll have to get
Hmm.
the engineer report. basically, but FHA is the same way. It's basically that it's structurally sound, that
Okay.
it's safe and sound. They want you to get, I don't remember them all, electrical signed off on, the roof signed off on, for movement, traveling, the electrical, plumbing, just most of those can be done by the general contractor.
You said safe and sound, and I think that's important because we talk about minimum property requirements. We've had a couple dialogues about that in different episodes. Chapter 12 really dives into it, and it's almost like the VA will say yes to just about anything as long as you can prove it's safe and sound for the veteran when they're living in it. As long as they maintain it, of course, but when they first take possession, it has to be livable, safe, and sound, right?
Yes, correct. So another vet VA person told me one time, pretty much if a 2-year-old's going to get hurt, it's got to be. If a 2-year-old won't get hurt, you're good. So exposed wires, they could get hurt. Fall hazards, they can get hurt.
Yeah. Peeling paint, they could eat the paint chips, they'll get hurt. I
Exactly.
mean, I like it. I could get that. I can get behind that. I've never heard that before. That's really funny. Um, Talk to me, if you will, what's more stressful? Being on scene and fighting a fire, or the 11th hour with a borrower moving from out of state trying to close on a purchase with a U-Haul and having some sort of hang up because of real estate or sellers or whatever? Which one's
Oh,
more stressful?
I would say early in my firefighting career, making a fire.
Yeah.
Now, since I've been doing that, that's second nature. I always fear letting the veteran down,
Hmm.
where something I didn't see, we get broadsided, or an underwriter did a quality control to make sure the underwriter did the file correctly, and they find something at the last minute, and I dread
Yeah.
having to call the agent and the veteran to say, timeout, we can't close today, we're going to have to close tomorrow.
Yeah.
Very stressful. uh, it doesn't happen very often, but as we all know, stuff happens and
Yep.
there's no control sometimes. But that's until I hear it's closed and funded. Some of those are kind of edgy.
Right. Uh I'm curious. You've brought up, and we've talked about this before, but you like to teach. You like to teach personally. You like to be around people. You have a lot of fun stories to tell. Where did that come from? Why is that something that you enjoy doing?
Well, time in the service, promote. I promoted pretty quick in there and had to teach.
Hmm.
The fire service, I'm an instructor, and I taught at a college, and I feel like there's people nowadays that kind of half butt stuff when they teach, and it's like, hey, I can do it better. So I always told, if you're gonna say you can do it better, you need to get in there and do it. So I
Yeah.
just feel like, I don't want people to get taken advantage of. So if you teach them right the first time and give them the knowledge, or at least also where to go get it and back it up.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I got into teaching was.
How do you do that with mortgage in such a way? Because I know, even personally, right? Somebody's like, "Hey, come sit in my little seminar. I'm going to teach you this thing," and then you're like, "Okay, well, where's the sales pitch?" Like, I don't sense that from you. I know we've talked about it from a vet VA perspective, but what's your philosophy there?
Well, I tell people the fire department pays my bills,
Yeah.
and doing mortgages is kind of my mad money, fun money for the family.
Mhm.
So I'm not going to try to sell you on something just to make money, because not that I don't need the money, but I'm not going to do it just to make the money. Like
Yeah.
I tell people right now, refi is a big topic right now. Doing Earl,
Super hot. Yep.
I've told all of my veteran clients, hey, look, yeah, rates are better right now, but what are they going to be in January?
Yeah.
So they're like, well, what does that mean? Well, once you refi, you got to wait another 210 days to refi again.
Mm-hmm.
So as the trend, we're like, well, yeah, it's really nice. I can save a couple $100 now. But if I wait a couple months, what are you going to save?
Yeah.
And depending on what state you're in, Texas is hard right now to refi with the property taxes so high because you got to
Yeah.
reestablish your escrows. And I refuse to have the veterans loan amount increase if they can just wait another month or two. Because
Yeah.
everybody says,
Yeah.
well, just roll it in. But I can't tell you how many times we've gone, a veteran's gone to sell their home that they did IRRRLs and didn't know they kept rolling in a funding fee and taxes. And they're
Yeah.
like, I owe way more now on my house than when I bought it 5 years ago.
Bingo. Yep.
So that's part of the teaching is, hey, let you know. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I know it, but if the veteran doesn't understand that, then I didn't do my job letting them know.
Walk me through that a little bit more, like point by point, because you're bringing up a really good point, especially when we record this in September 9th. We've seen interest rates starting to come down a little bit. We're seeing some change. We're still waiting on a couple Fed reports to come out to see what happens long term, but we're like, okay, it's not a crash. It's not a rush. It's like we've been
Correct.
holding our
It's
breath for this
slowly.
for a little bit. This is okay. We like what we're seeing. So talk about getting prepared and then the churning issue. So you did mention you mentioned it, like some people just they just refinance their house. They're like,
Correct.
I'll
They
just
do.
refinance again. I'll save myself 2 months payments, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Right.
Correct. I mean, it's all the spin. Like people say,
Mm,
oh, hey, I got this product. You're a first time home buyer. Well, everybody gets that hadn't owned a house in 3 years. Like it's the spin on words. It's everybody offers it. Well, the VA requires you to do an IRRRL. You need to save a half a point, 0.5 in the interest rate. Well, higher loan amounts, that could be a lot of money, just 0.5. So I look at it, and we'll take Texas because that's where I'm out of.
hmm
Property taxes, right now we're in 9. You have 2 months cushion. So you're looking 11, 12 months of taxes that you would have to roll into the loan amount or come out of pocket at closing, plus
hmm
the title fees, because nothing's for free. So time you roll those in, even if you're getting a half a point better interest rate, but your loan amount goes up by $15,000,
Yeah.
does that help you? Because now you're back at a 30-year mortgage again, most of the
Right.
time. Or
Right.
if you can come down, you can come down. But most of the time, so you go back to a 30. And then 210 days, so let's say February, the rates are another half a percent better. And they say, hey, let's refi again. So you
Yep.
refi again. Well, property tax wise, now you're only going to have to do 4 months instead of 12. So now it's only going to go up a little. You still got closing costs. And if you don't have any disability and you're paying the VA funding fee, every time that gets rolled in there as well. So
hmm
that's how veterans end up owing way more on their house than what they bought it for. But
Yep.
what we're talking about is, you know, $200 could mean everything to a veteran. So
Absolutely.
it might make sense for them to do it, but I mean, I say gambling. It's, hey, the way we're going, rates have been so high, current political climate saying, hey, we want rates to come down so houses will move and the
hmm
economy will move. So is this little bits all that's going to happen? I don't think so. I don't think we'll see twos and threes ever again, but I think we'll get into the fives, maybe fours if you do a 15 year.
Yeah.
So But if you do it
It's funny.
now,
It's funny watching after like 2008, because I was in lending. I started lending in '07, and watching it 8, 9, when it started hitting 5.75, 5.5, people were like, "Oh my gosh!" And I cannot tell you what happens. Something in affordability, and there's probably some economist right now who's listening to this could be like, "Oh, I can tell you exactly what it is." But that 5.5% 30-year fixed rate, there's something about affordability that just captures so many more people. It's just more manageable than these 6%. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just my favorite number. Maybe it's 5.55 is a favorite number. I don't know.
I think I read a thing that said for every eighth of a point the rate drops, hundred
hmm
thousand people enter the buying market.
Become more eligible. Yeah, become eligible to purchase.
Which
Yeah,
that's crazy.
yeah.
So talking about rate, you mentioned earlier the advocacy. My wife taking a new
hmm
job, and we go to DC quite often. And I tell borrowers all the time because they're like, "Oh, rates got to come down. Rates got to come down." Two of the biggest buildings in DC are NAR, the National Association of Realtors,
Yeah.
and the home builders. I forget what they're.
Association. Yeah. Yeah. HBA
I
or
don't.
home builders.
I don't see home prices coming down a whole lot.
Mm-mm.
It's going to be the interest rate is what's going to have to give,
Yeah.
but it's not going to crater.
We've never seen home prices fall to a level where they then do not come straight back up and pass where they left. You know what I mean? It's like the price valuation, the indexing just continues to climb. And yes, there will be dips. '08 was a good example. Personally, I lost like 40 some percent in our house value, but 3 years, 4 years later, it had caught right back up. And looking back now, if I still own the house, I'd be like, wow, have a
Kind of
lot of
like the
money in
stock
that property.
market. It goes up and
Yeah.
down, but if you
Yeah.
look, it steadily skyrockets and then it
If you
splits,
hold long enough.
doubles.
Yep.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. When I see people like, oh, I gotta wait for the house prices to come down. It's like, no, what you're saying is you want it to stall because that's what your mind is capable of understanding is affordable.
Yes.
It's it's literally a mental exercise more than and a little bit of faith more than anything else.
But
And I know there's probably people who invest in like, no, 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 you could do. I was like, I get it, but we're talking to the general American public who's looking to use and buy a home.
correct. But I kind of
You
look at
have
it
to get.
this years ago, homes were cheaper, but it was more of a one household income.
Yeah.
Now, there's not a whole lot of just one person household income.
Right.
But both mom, dad, partners, they're both working,
Yep.
and the
It,
cost goes up. I tell people all the time,
yeah.
not to get political, but it's every time minimum wage goes up, those corporation VPs,
hmm
they're going to make the same amount of money. So they're just going to increase the cost of the product to
Right.
make the same amount of money.
Yep. It's a negative sum game when you get down to it because you look at valuation, cost, and affordability. It always is a flotation of balances. For a small amount of time, you may win. For a small amount of time, you may lose, but it will balance back out. Just that is the way the economy is trying to struggle towards. But I'm not an economist, so if you're listening to this and you absolutely disagree with me in 100% every which way, you're just mad that we even brought it up.
Hey,
Forgive us. It was just an opinion shared. There you go.
cost of living's what, 3% normally every year?
Yeah,
Has
the
anybody
cola.
done a chart that shows home increase 3% every year? No, I'm just
Yeah,
curious because
yeah.
it's cost of living, so
Altos
everything.
Research and Housing Wire. Logan Motoshami too has quite a number of things out there. I'll see if I can find one before we publish this episode and link it. That's a great point.
So
Yeah.
you're thinking they're going to come down.
Now, what is the as we wrap this up, Aaron? What's the I don't know. We learn things through a number of different ways, but primarily there's some sort of emotion attached to what we're doing that really makes it stick. Like makes the learning be like get concrete in our head. Positive, negative, like what's one of the loans you remember doing that was a mile marker for you that taught you a ton? Was it good? Was it bad? What'd you learn?
I actually had a vetted VA real estate agent send me a client that they took somewhere else first and got denied.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't quite have 12 months of no late payments. They were a little
Mm-hmm.
shy. But their debt to income, which, yes, the VA doesn't look at, we talked about it, but it does carry a little weight because everybody else goes off that model.
Correct.
So their DTI was relatively low. They made decent money. They just had hiccups in their life where they had some lates and they were good, and then they had a hiccup, and they were good and they had a hiccup. But
Yep.
we have through one of the partnered wholesalers that does a lot of good for veterans. They were willing to listen to the full story. So we documented it, provided it. They said, submit it. Let's see what will happen. So we submitted it. The first underwriter kicked it out. And we're like, wait a minute, let's go to management because this is what the VA says per the handbook. So their head VA underwriter took the loan himself.
Mm-hmm.
And we made it to closing. And the veteran, once he signed the closing papers, the title company gave him his keys, and he basically got his keys, fell on the floor, and started bawling.
Oh man,
That he couldn't believe that he was a homeowner. So that's just stuck with me. So if there's a way a veteran can get in a home, like there's people out there that'll find a way, if at all possible. Not everybody can, but if you got a shot, there's wholesalers out there that go strictly off.
Not all can at the same time, but there's usually somebody out there who can help you make
or
a plan,
at least can give you a game plan.
Work.
Hey, this needs to be fixed, and then we can do it.
100%, dude. I love that. All right, Aaron, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for sharing your story and your time. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening and you're curious on like how to get in touch with Aaron, you should go to vetedva.com, click on the Texas state map. You'll find him on there, his contact information, websites, the whole 9 yards. Or you'll find him in our Facebook group on Facebook at Vetted VA. Join that group if you're an active duty service member, veteran, or family of the same. Come on in, ask all the questions you want. There's no solicitation. There's no cussing. It's a very safe and organized group, thanks to the men and women like Aaron. And if you're a professional listening to this, go to the Vetted VA for Professionals group. We serve it the same, but you ask different questions. And we want to make sure it's very specific and detailed to how you're serving the veteran and VA home loan eligible consumers that are coming to you for business. So we want to help serve them by serving you. Well, with that, we'll sign off. Thanks again, Aaron. I appreciate you. We'll see you in the chats. And yeah, that's it.
All righty. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Vetted VA podcast, Your Journey Home. We hope this information has been helpful, enjoyable, engaging, supportive. But here's the biggest call to action for you. If you are a veteran, a service member, a family member of the same, and you have earned or have access to the VA home loan eligibility and have questions, please feel free to join us at Vetted VA on Facebook. Go to facebook.com, search for the Vetted VA group, and you'll find it. Answer some of the questions to enter, and once you do that, you're good to go. If you're a professional, a real estate agent, lender, insurance agent, you know the drill. Well, as a professional, we'd love to have you join the professionals only group. We do all the same information, but at a little bit different scope because, well, of how you're coming into that information to support yourself and the other consumers that you work with. So please join Vetted VA on Facebook or Vetted VA for Professionals on Facebook. Follow us on TikTok, wherever you can find it. And as always, all the white papers, the resources, the documents, and the training, the free training courses are available at vettedva.com. You'll find them all there. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. My email is nathan@vettedva.com. I'm the COO, and I'm ready to help. Glad you tuned in for this episode, and looking forward to bringing you the next one. Take care.